Hey there, how you guys doing? One of the issues that I think is very important in the United States right now is the issue of homelessness. There's a very big wave of homeless people, especially in states like California, New York, Philadelphia, and this is shocking to me just because the United States is the biggest economy of the world. With so much wealth here, like, people cannot or should not be homeless, in my opinion, because it's just too much resources for everyone. However, this is a case. Recently there were lots of channels, white soft underbelly, showing the life of those guys, and I grew with compassion, to be honest. Pretty much most of them, unless they're, of course, they have mental or drug issues, they occurred in this position not because of their own will. They had to cut costs on the rental. Sometimes they could not afford it. Sometimes life happens, you cannot work anymore. Most of those guys are 9-to-5 guys who were not able to earn enough to cover their rent. This can happen pretty much to everyone, and obviously because of the issues with the crime in the shelters, most of them are just sleeping in their cars. I decided to discuss why this is happening. Hear your thoughts on this. If we could help somehow to those guys, I would love to use my platform, this channel, to reach out and help those guys. First of all, I think you have to have compassion toward those guys. Sometimes a person you see, you think they're on drugs or they're like mentally sick. They can just be a person who was not able to come up with another rent and they had to vacate. Whenever you can, just try to help out those guys. Obviously, the most important part is income to spending ratio, especially in the United States with a credit card system. If you are not really financially educated, it's really hard to manage this. I had a lot of tenants who they were nice guys, normal people. It's just because of the financial illiteracy, they had horrible credit histories, credit scores, and that's the reason why it occurs, because people are having income and spending discrepancies. One of the problems, I think, is that actually rich people are getting even richer after the inflation. Every time happens, the prices go up, and this pretty much enriches the people who do the production, like companies like Amazon, Microsoft. Those guys are actually getting richer, and the owners of those guys. However, the simple working class 9-to-5 guys, they're not getting richer because they just cannot catch up with the prices going up. Personally, I had a very deep thoughts about this issue. How can it be fixed? Obviously, the first thing is stopping inflation. I mean, the Fed is trying to do their best, hiking up the rates, lower the price. It kind of works. I think it will just require a little more time than everyone expects, but it will work on the long run. The other thing that I think it could help really to those working class people is to reduce the taxes. Obviously, you would ask me like, hey, wait a minute, how reducing taxes will help to those guys? But there were several cases in the history. There was back in time, I believe the highest tax rate was around 70%, and no one did pay that bracket. Everybody were trying to find the gaps in the law. Pretty much when they lowered those gaps to some logical levels like 10-15%, people at US Treasury started to get crazy amount of payments for taxes. Same can be said about the That's the kind of effect that you're getting when you lower your taxes. Ireland or Singapore, both of those countries were one of the poorest countries in the continent. However, after reforming tax policies, now pretty much every tech company will go, Facebook, Microsoft, Apple, everybody have their own offices in Ireland. Why? Because there are no taxes. It makes sense to keep the office there, just tax-wise forming everything like that you would pay much less taxes in case if you would not have an office there. That's one of the things that could be done. Another thing that I could help reduce the homelessness is lowering regulations. In California, I currently have a small construction going on, and the amount of regulations is just ridiculous. Like, I recently found out, and we're in the place in Orange County where there should, like, many people say there are like less regulations here compared to other cities. However, I just found out that you cannot have a construction car, or industrial vehicle, or any pickup with instruments parked on your property, on your own property, which is ridiculous. Like, and I have a tenants who actually they're working in construction, they're using that car for the commute to work home. Pretty much it doesn't make sense to me, because first of all, everybody parks on the streets. Second, what sense it makes? Like, it's my property, okay? Like, what's the difference for the neighbors if I have construction or elephant park on my property, right? It doesn't make sense. Anyways, I'll just tell you a simple example. Take a Florida or Texas. Why do you think the real estate prices are 3 times, 4 times cheaper there in comparison to California? Obviously, less regulations. Less regulations, less taxes. It's just easier to build there. And of course, land is cheaper. But be land cheap, this thing that people come up with this excuse. That's why California is expensive. It doesn't make sense, because land is cheap in inland California too, but the prices in inland California still are higher than in, say, Florida or Texas. If you guys like this video, please don't forget to subscribe, put the like button under it. I would really appreciate that, and comment if you have any thoughts. Thank you.